Shadow of the Erdtree thus far has been my favorite FromSoftware DLC. Do I like it more than Ring City? Hard to say, they're pretty neck and neck. But much like the previous DLC expansion, FromSoft has nailed it. One could argue that they basically made a whole ass sequel. It's not perfect, but thus far it was the best thing I've played this year. Now, I'm not in complete agreement with people about the difficulty. I personally did not find this to be impossibly difficult. At times, I actually felt maybe certain segments of this DLC are too easy. Eventually, I did hit that wall that I'm pretty confident 99% of FromSoftware veterans hit. And that was the final boss fight with Radon. This motherfucker was harder to fight than child support, but not impossible. As a matter of fact, once you do figure out how to beat him, it stops being a hard boss fight. I mean, that holy damage is bullshit, and that grab attack is absolutely ridiculous. But if I could beat him on my own, then so can you. Unfortunately, not everybody else feels this way. The good old Elden Ring haters who take personal offense to Miyazaki not wanting to cater to them and make an easy mode or give them a pause button, they feel it's so hard, they have a right to now sue FromSoftware for Elden Ring's difficulty.
FromSoftware is being sued due to the complexity of Elden Ring. The Japanese studio FromSoftware may receive a lawsuit from a player who complains that Elden Ring is too hard. MP1 first writes about it. Several posts were found from one 4chan user who says that in fact, FromSoftware games have another world hidden behind the wall of complexity. The complaint is that the game has a lot of hidden content that even the most dedicated players cannot access. The player claims that even after completing half of the game, Elden Ring still hides another full game. As a result, developers FromSoftware and the game's publisher Bandai Namco are scheduled to be summoned to court on September 25, 2024. The player claims that he is going crazy because of the tasks of the game's director, Miyazaki, who forces players to break the shackles of humanity. Among other things, this person also claims that the content often found by data miners was not actually cut from the game, but simply hidden behind an incredibly high difficulty, which makes it impossible to get to.
And take away from the fact that the defendant...
am not crazy! I am not crazy.
You have to forgive me. I think I just pooped myself there. Took a fat dab. I had to after reading that. Oh my god. Of course it's a 4chan user. That's usually where the journalists go to hide. I wouldn't be surprised if the person suing is a part-time journalist at Kotaku or IGN. Hell, for all we know, it could actually be Harmon Smith. Of course, the person who looks like an Elden Ring boss would take personal offense and want to sue the company. In reality, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. I think this person is wasting FromSoftware's time. They're not going to show up to this court case, and this is a means to troll FromSoftware, but then again, I have seen Elden Ring break the minds of many throughout its entire existence. From Quantum TV to gaming journalists to Asmongold, this game has created all sorts of psychological issues. For the weak-minded anyway. You know, if your will is as strong as mine, you'll be fine. But if you're as pathetic and full of soy as the people I listed, this game is not for you. This, of course, led me to want to actually go and read the person's personal complaints, because this is just summarizing it all, and it's even funnier than how they're reporting it.
Only 2 months remain, starting today. September 25th, 2024 is when Bandai Namco Games enters court for a hearing in my Elden Ring lawsuit that claims we have only played half of FromSoftware's games and a whole new game is hidden inside, and that it's too hard to access for even its most dedicated fans. In less than 2 months, you'll be forced to realize game devs cater to crazy people because they have courage that you don't, to explore the unknown world You'll be forced to realize the hackers have been lying to you, telling you content is cut, when it's actually just undiscovered. Look up the docket number for updates on the case. No doxing in this thread. Don't get the thread deleted, you fucks. I didn't understand anything you said. You've only played half of your favorite Japanese video game. There's an unexplored half. It's like a new campaign, feels like a brand new game. What's the problem with understanding? It would have been data mined years ago if that was the case. The insinuation is that the game developers have succeeded in hiding the campaign from data miners since the NES, meaning the parallel universe theory is 38 years old. They've kept it a secret for 38 years. I'm getting my day in court. How will you cope with the truth? I became insane because of Hidetaka Miyazaki wanted in the case of Bloodborne. He wanted the players to break the shackles of humanity in the Drained of Blood interview.
What we have here is a severe case of the butthurt. Someone who's lived in complete denial. My theory is the game was too hard for their pea-sized brain. It doesn't seem like this is going to hold up in court, but it may entertain the judge for long enough, depending on whether this person shows up or not. Their argument is that there's content hidden in the game because the game is so hard, it's impossible for players to get to said content. But again, as it's been pointed out many times, data miners would have found this and it wouldn't have taken more than, 1 month? There is cut content in Elden Ring, but there's no hidden world. You really think big-ass YouTubers that like to break boundaries wouldn't have gone for that right now? This is the power Elden Ring has over the weak-minded. It breaks the psyche down. It just sucks that Elden Ring is always constantly destroying the minds of people who have more than enough free time on their hands, because instead of getting good, they're filing a lawsuit against this company. Now I know what you're thinking, Frit, is that possible? Has this been done before? Have gamers succeeded in a lawsuit? Is it possible that this could go anywhere? Well, back in 2020, a federal lawsuit asserted that Electronic Arts unlawfully increased its sports games difficulty in order to induce gamers into paying the video game publisher additional money, which is a completely different case, mind you, but lawsuits over game difficulty has happened before. Mind you, the court case with EA was dismissed, and that one was tied to loot boxes and other various microtransactions. I don't see any possible way for the judge to listen to the plaintiff for more than, maybe 1 hour at most. I'm surprised the case wasn't thrown out on paper, but I do actually want to see it happen. I want to see Miyazaki show up and leave with shades on, throwing out the praise the sun pose. I mean, there are those out there who genuinely feel the exact same way this person does, minus the crazy conspiracy theory stuff that's more than likely meth-induced. But what else can be said? Elden Ring is definitely, without a doubt, game of the generation. It has spawned so many interesting stories, rants, and tantrums. It created entire careers out of clowns, and to this day, its difficulty is still the hottest topic. Imagine thinking Miyazaki and his crew were masterminds who secretly programmed a game to be so hard that its second world is practically hidden because it's impossible to reach. I would love for a game like that to actually exist. See, because when you can actually finally beat these games, it takes a lot of the oomph out of it, especially when you replay them, because then they're not so hard. If something that hard existed, I wouldn't play any other game. I would devote the rest of my life to uncracking and finding the secret hidden world. This guy really pulled off a Goldie Roger, walked onto the podium and told everybody, you want the secret world? It's out there. You just have to find it. Data miners are going to be working overtime after this story. I mean, if they're stupid, but I've never met a stupid data miner. But I have met stupid 4chan posters. Plenty of them. But of all the salty individuals to have been personally offended by Elden Ring, this one takes the cake. I mean, Elden Ring ruined Quantum TV's life, to the point that the man had to jump on top of the roof of his wife's car so she wouldn't leave him, only for it to turn out to be that he never actually even really touched the game, and it still somehow ruined his life. As entertaining as that is, seeing a gamer want to take FromSoftware to court over the difficulty. Now that is peak comedy. Ruining brains, ruining marriages, and making Miyazaki lots of money and being the most awarded game in history. I love it. And to think, it's only going to continue succeeding for a few more years. Next thing you know, war is gonna break out because Putin can't get past Radon. I'm fully convinced that's how influential this video game is over society. Anyways, folks, stop being salty, get good. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's get me to 73,000 subscribers, and be sure to tune in to today's stream later in the evening. 5 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be seeing you there.
Fritongo sucks ass.